Yay! We are live. Hello, loves. It is Sonia G. This is a Wednesday day live because this week we didn't do a Monday night live. And I have many things to talk to you about. We have 20 minutes. We are talking about very important things for the collective and what's happening in March. And if you don't get a chance to watch this whole thing while I'm doing it live, go back to the replay. I will upload it to YouTube too. I feel like the whole world needs to know what I'm about to explain to you, okay? So our topic today, I actually wrote notes. I feel so strongly about it. So welcome, my loves, and happy March. Ciao. I love you all. I'm so happy that you're all joining. I see you. I see you all. I want to welcome you with open arms. Welcome to March. We're going to do amazing things in this tribe. And the topic of today's conversation is the dimensional collapsing that's happening, that is in progress, that is about to occur, right? Even more so than the higher connection to you and your soul and your higher self and God and the universe and creator of all that is, okay? Your higher connection, and then what's happening to your light body, okay? This month is a powerful month, and there is so much happening inside of the higher dimensional planes as well as in the collapsing of the things. And we've all been talking about this, like this unfolding. I feel like it has been talked about without people understanding how it would actually feel. Okay, so I want to talk to you about that part because I feel like it's so important. Hi, Anna. Hi, my loves. I see you jumping on. We have so much solar activity that it's wild. Okay, what is solar activity? So let's talk about a couple of things that are happening. We have the magnetic activity from the earth. We have Schumann resonance, right? That are like spiking, going up, going down. Sometimes it's blackout. The earth is readjusting. Then we have solar activity that's happening. The sun is sending out flares, massive plasma blasts. These are codes, okay? This is knowledge. This is information. This is activation. This is what is literally, physically, you guys know that I've been in the solar system and the sun. Dang, I should have had it for this, but I don't have it here. So if the sun is here, very high, okay, in the dimensional planes of existence, follow me, pay attention to this. The sun is up here, okay, and is where the gravitational center of what's happening in our solar system. This is why it's a solar system. It's a system based on the gravitational pull of the sun. The sun is like, all right, my family of planetary, consciousness in the solar system that we call just our solar system, but really it's like, for everybody. But the sun is sending these blasts. These blasts, okay, are literally dropping down. They're melting and they're breaking through the dimensional layers, okay, which are your higher chakras, which are the dimensional layers of existence in the higher planes. So a lot of people, while they understand that geomagnetic storms and X flares, etc., they cause people to feel compressed. They cause people to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm in overload. Oh my gosh, there's ascension symptoms. What's actually happening is there are layers of density that are breaking down, okay? They're breaking down, and if you don't know how to hold your own connection to your higher structures of reality, okay? So if you don't have a connection, hear me now, to creator of all that is, to your God self, like all the way up to where God is, creator of all that is. This is so important. The angels don't cut it anymore. Your archangels don't cut it anymore. You have to go to source. You have to go establish a connection to source. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more deeply because in the coming, days and months, because up till now in the phases of ascension that we've had, it's been enough to work with angels and guides and ancestors on the other sides and the archangels and the goddesses, right? Like we have so many beings on the other side that are serving the light, that are of the highest truth, right? And they're serving the divine plan. And it has been wonderful and great and amazing. And I have been, teaching about it for a really long time. That continues to be really good and very supportive because they are helping us. However, if you personally are not connected to the energy of creator of all that is, which is beyond the connection to the universe, because creator of all that is the intelligence that created the universe. Okay. So if you're confused about that, this is a month to get clear on that, because you want to be connected in the highest of what you can connect. And this is why your light, your oxygen, your exchange of spirituality and like the flow of what powers you, okay, what comes in for you, your lymphatic exchange with your own self will only go as far as you've developed the channels and the pathways and the connection. Okay, so that's where you're going to like source from. It's going to like come in and fuel you and energize you and keep you alive inside of your physical body and in joy and in health and in doing well while everything else is collapsing. Okay, it's going to crumble. You think it's bad now, it's going to fucking crumble. Okay, so quit listening to what people are saying on the TV and all of these things. Focus inwards, okay? So the dimensional collapsing, again, the sun is melting, okay? It's sending the impulses. So all of the different layers of existence, the dimensional planes are being melted through. Everything is coming down, coming down. It's crashing on planet Earth. This is why it's going to crash. It's going to be like mad, like it's not really rain because it's not very pleasant. It's like when it rains, it pours, it storms. It's like that, except it's emotional. It's like, it's health related. It's everything. And think about all the shit that has been put out there. That people are like, oh, whatever. Like everybody's thoughts that are shitty thoughts. Everybody that like doesn't have a grasp, right, on what they're putting out there. All of the bandwidths of frequencies, like on the internet, on the radios, on the TV, all of these fucking satellites that are up in the air now, like doing the whatever, they're interlinking, etc. All of these like negative waves that are up there is all coming back down, right? It's kind of like if you guys watched that movie Atlantis, Aquaman, okay, which was the movie of Atlantis, and all of a sudden it was like the beings of the water. And if you haven't watched it, here's what I'm talking about. All the beings inside the water, it's a world where Atlantis was very much alive, like underneath the water, right? And the water creatures sent back up all the trash to the people living on the land, saying like, yo, you guys have dumped all this shit in the water. Now let's give you all of your trash back. It's basically happening, but from the higher planes. It's like, all right, kids, it's time, right? Earth has to ascend. All these layers have to clear out. So it's very real, and you're not making it up. A lot of people are getting more depressed than ever. A lot of people, like, there is so much happening that we have to be in mastery. And you really have to be, like, sharp. You have to be, like, at your, with your game face on. This is like the finals. Does that make sense? And I know that it's frustrating to talk about it like a game when it's like, been crying and doing all these things and it's crazy and there's so much going on. It definitely doesn't feel like a game, right? And a lot, it's like very alive and very raw, but at the same time, it kind of is, because we are intelligences. We are infinite, eternal beings of light that have incarnated inside of a physical body for this moment of time to be able to sustain this dimensional shift without breaking our circuitry of the body. Okay, this is our job. We get to sustain this dimensional shifting, which means that as things collapse, the name of the game is knowing how to clear. I have taught you guys to clear for like 4 years now. Okay, Like, you have to know how to clear, because otherwise you're going to find yourself stuck. This is very important, in self-development loops. Do not get stuck in self-development loops. I'm seeing this all over the internet with like some of the best coaches that like, you know, like higher end and they're talking to people about self-development and like owning their feelings and processing their feelings and sitting in their feelings. Those of you guys that are light workers, okay? Infinite beings of light. It's not that we're not going to disregard our feelings, but it's very important for you to fucking understand when it's your feelings and when you're feeling into the collective, because the collective energy is not for you to process. It's for you to fucking clear. Okay, this is different, and I feel this strongly about it, so I'm going to cuss about it, and some people are going to get upset, and that's great. Okay, like, it is what it is. But you have to be able to clear it. It's not for you to intake. You do not have to sit with, like, if there's, you do not have to pull the toxicity through your body in order to process it. This is very important. In self-development, okay, I know all about self-development. Did you guys know, like, I'm a certified life coach. I've studied Gestalt therapy. Like, I have studied NLP. I have studied all of these self-development things. And when you hear me talking about my mentor, Gary, right? This was like, I have gone through years of studies with him, more than 10. So I understand self-development. And in self-development, you want to process through, right, the things that are yours. But there is one thing that my mentor, Gary, taught me that is very fucking important. And I'm going to teach you right now. And it's this. When garbage is thrown at you, okay? So if you're standing in a room full of people and people are talking shit about you, let's just say. And there's a lot of things. People are telling you all these things. Maybe it's happening on the internet. Maybe it's happening in like, you know, somewhere out there, whatever. But, or maybe it's just happening with a partner or with your family. But when people are like throwing garbage at you, saying insults, saying shit, oh crap. We are like running out of time. We may have to do like a part 2 to this. So, because I have an appointment, but I wanted to tell you this because I clearly feel so strongly about it. When people throw garbage at you, okay, generally speaking, 10% of it sticks. Only 10% of it will stick to you. Think about the visual of it. If people are throwing banana peels at you, literally garbage, right? Insults and things. A lot of them are their own projections, right? Like they're throwing that. But sometimes we get hurt. Right? Our feelings get hurt. We're having a human experience. It's like, oh, right? And a lot of it, when it comes all at once, it's like, oh, right? But if you shake yourself off of the banana peels and the rotten tomatoes and whatever the fuck they threw, okay? If you shake yourself off, most of it will fall, meaning it's not yours. You have to be able to recognize that. The 10% that sticks, yes, that's the shit that you want to go inside, be with, process through, and get real with. But the other stuff, you clear off, right? This is not how my mentor Gary teaches it, but he would always say, like, there's only 10% that sticks. That's the stuff that you really have to own. Like, that's the stuff that you have to, like, look at, right? And process internally and be able to, like, you know, work through it in whichever skills that you have. Meaning, like, whenever there's garbage, we got to sort through it, right? Whenever you're dealing with something, whenever you're not happy, something in you wants to be processed. So you have to have clearing skills for 90% of it, okay? Which is a lot. Outside, clearing the house, clearing the aura, knowing what's yours, knowing what's not. This is easy. If you know how to do this, you're like 90% ahead of the game because you're clearing your environment. You're not taking this dimensional collapsing on. The problems of the world are not your problems. They're not yours specifically to process through your body. They're yours to witness. They're yours to do something about. They're yours to be in your calling and in your mission about, right? However that relates. But they're not for you to get depressed about. They're not for you to cry about. They're not for you to internalize. They're for you to do something about. This is different, okay? So the other things that are like, oh yeah, I see how that could be me. I see how, like, you know, that actually does hurt somewhere that's real. That's like, it feels like something that is like, inside of me, I should probably look at that. I probably do need to understand how to process this emotion. I do want to like figure out how to access my, my inner child, my higher self. Like, this is important. There are things that I'm missing. There are some traumas that are coming up here. And I'll tell you what is coming up in big trauma land right now is like the divine feminine versus the divine masculine. Somehow it has now shifted into this weird new mode that I was like, what the fuck? Weren't we like going in the right trajectory? But there is a new path of it. So be careful of this stuff. We as women, those of us that are the embodiment of the divine feminine, we really get to hold this divine feminine. And for some of us, like me, that has been operating on masculine, right, parameters for a lot of time, it's really tricky. It's really very much tricky. But if we don't, but we have to show up for it, right? And that's the job. And we get to be softer within ourselves. We get to hold a frequency of respect, of deep, sacred healing inside of us for the world, right? The way that we express it, the way that we talk about it, the way that we interact with people comes from this place. But we are not here to rage about, this feminine movement that's going overboard and getting crazy and getting so loud and like slightly violent and fucking mad at the world. That's not divine feminine. That's feminism at its worst. This is different. Okay. So if we are going to want to hold space for the divine masculine to rise in, the form that it is, we have to do our part, and we can't be mad, and we can't be frustrated and, come up in trauma in the feminine. This is not it, right? It is tricky to find the soft spots and the sweetness and the queen, right? The goddess inside. Like, it is tricky, but fuck. What, are we scared of doing the work? No, we're not scared of doing the work. We're going to show up for it. We're going to do it because our planet depends on it, and our celestial mission, right, depends on it. So figure those things out. But this is also what I want to tell you guys. And I see the comments, and I wish I could like screenshot them or keep them or take them all in. And I hope that you guys are connecting on these things in there too. The thing that I want to tell you, right, is specifically during March, it is your highest connection that will dictate your frequency. Always remember this. Always remember this. You will have to do so much less self-development, so much less ownership of any feeling, so much less of any of the many untruths that will hit you, that are about to hit you. All of the mental madness that is about to hit. Be prepared for this. The way that you're prepared for it is you have your higher connection on. Focus on your light body. When you understand who you are, your purpose, your mission, and you're operating in higher frequency channels, there is nothing crumbling on you because you are plugged into the higher consciousness. You are anchored in at the highest level. So as everything is crumbling, it's kind of like when you're, going through like a road and it's like there's wind and there's snow and the things are just like you're going through a wormhole. Like you're in the eye of the storm and you are solid. You are grounded. Your divine self is on. This is where you want to be. This is how you want March to be. Okay. So we'll talk some more about it. This is the reason why I am bringing to you Light Body Rehab, okay? This is my offering for March that is actually like an insanely supportive offering. I sat with it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. It's a 3-month experience because what's about to occur, I want to be able to offer like a place where you are held through and like you know how to navigate, right? We are going to move through every aspect of this. So this is an equinox to solstice experience. It's not even a course, it's an experience. So I will talk to you more about it, but it's the rehabilitation of your light body, meaning like who you really are on the inside, your higher connection, your higher pathways. And in a very Sonia G way, you guys, I figured out the completion of this human design situation. I'm so excited. It's going to unravel inside of this course. I figured out where so many of our pathways are looking for connection, and we kind of end up codependent on like people or news or things like that, and how we actually now have a way of connecting to who we are to move through all of these things, all of these systems that have held our reality together. We are building on, we're improving, we're making better. Some of them get to crumble, but some of them we're actually adding on, right? There's new dimensional layers to them. There's new multidimensionality aspects that are available. We get to work with that. We get to expand, excel, right? Reconnect to who we really are. So this is the job that we're going to be doing inside of LightBody rehab, because the LightBody is birthing. And as these dimensions are crumbling in, right? If you're not processing through that, if you're not clearing, if you're not into understanding of how to go through the self-development of ownership of your feelings, it's going to end up like sickness and headaches and tiredness, and like things inside your body may want to like come to life. So you're going to end up in skin rashes. You're going to end up like wild ascension symptoms happen when waves like this happen. I've talked to you guys about the astrology of March before, so you know how powerful it is. Everybody's talking about the astrology. Astrologers are talking about how we don't know how we're going to change like the planets, but we have to change our interactions, right, with the planets. Well, we're doing that. We're doing that actually inside of Star Codex. So me and the Star Codex crew are going up in the astral planes on these particular alignments, and we're shifting things, and it's going to be extraordinary. So we're creating what we're creating. We're in the process of creating a shift that's going to impact the planet. If any of you feel called to that, by the way, the registration is closed, but we're having such fantastic breakthroughs that I think that inside of the course, I think I'm going to reopen it for those that feel called. The only thing with that course is you're going to have to do it in order, because it is like, you have to go through, there's no skipping around. This is a very kind of structured course in order to get the results that we want to get, to do it in a way that's supportive, right? Structure supports flow. And so we are flowing inside of a structure so that it works the way that it's meant to. So anyways, many offerings are coming up for March. So look for more coming up in my stories and in my posts. I will share. I feel so strongly that this is such a turning, like this is a quarter century turn, in our reality. And so many people are forgetting where to actually connect, right? Like where the truth comes from. And so like so many people are getting lost in this like sea of everything that's happening. And like I tapped into the collective consciousness, and I cried for like an entire hour. I was like, God, how are we going to do this? Like, how are we shifting? How are we going to move through? Right. And it's like, well, you have to start. And these are the things, these are the ways, that we're going to show up. And this is, talk about these things. And I will be like up here talking about it and all of these things. Me, all my higher selves, God, angels, all of it. Okay. So, if you want to look at any of these things that are coming up, go to moonbabetribe.com, okay, and click on the menu, and then go look at LightBody Rehab, okay? It's also here in my stories at Moonbabes and the Light Tribe. On the front page of my website, or when you first click here on the link in my bio, you will find the highlighted courses. You will find all of the courses that I am kind of saying this is a good idea for March, right? That are open for registration. So I really want to encourage you to find something that supports you. It in a sense, it almost doesn't matter what it is. It's like, it does in relationship to like what you want to shift through this month and how you want to show up for yourself through this month, right? But you want to find something, which the majority of my courses do, that connect you, in fact, all of them, but some of them are more grounded, that connect you to the highest available access that you have that keep you in the understanding of who you are and where you're going and how to move through these internal shifts. These are internal shifts. The world on the outside is not going to make you feel any better, right? And if you are used to relying on external impulses for satisfaction, on an external, whatever, for any kind of like solace or happiness or joy, okay, this is a big shift. You have to be able to find it inside because it's very short-lived. And this is how people get like into addictions and into like negative like loops and patterns, etc., etc. So don't do that. Catch it early because the shift that's happening is big. So don't underestimate it. Don't go after this month in March saying, oh, yeah, it's just that, it's another month. I have to work. I have to show up for my kid. I have things to do. I can't worry about all this stuff. None of the stuff matters if you don't do these things because everything will feel so much worse. Right? So you have to make time. This is one of those months. It's fucking hard. This is life on planet Earth. It wasn't like we came down here because this shit was going to be easy and we signed up for it. But we know this. Inside of you, you know this. Okay? So find the time to show up. Yesterday I was writing in Moonbabe Society. By the way, if you're not part of Moonbabe Society, that's the monthly membership where we just meditate with like the new moon and the full moon. Like get in there now because like that's $111 a month and it will give you like support and direction, right? Like that is a thing that I feel like everybody, like if you don't know and if you're looking to grab a hold of somewhere to be like, what is going on? What are we doing? Where's the guidance? Where's the direction? This is like your maintenance program. Like Moonbabe Society is like your maintenance program, okay? And I give you all sorts of things in there. This month, it's going to include also a coaching call and an equinox event. So we actually meet 4 times this month. But I was writing the theme and in the notes of what's going on for this month. And I wrote, like, this is a month that you have to go all in. And it's going to feel like a lot of people want to step back and be like, ooh, let me just see what happens. This is scary. I'm going to remove myself. I'm going to just watch what's going on. I'm going to be like on the bag. I'm going to just see what happens. I'm going to just witness it. I'll be over here. I will just, whenever I feel like it, maybe I'll make a move, but I'm just going to stick into like this detachment of reality. You're going to take yourself out of the game. And what happens is it's going to get worse because then you're not going to be able to shift with the current, right? You're going to feel disconnected from the shifting that has occurred. What needs to happen instead of going like this is being like, how do I show up at my 100%? How do I actually go all in? How do I like get inside of there where it's vulnerable and it's raw and it's real and it scares me probably in some way to show up at this level in the unknown. But if you're not there, you're going to take yourself out. Like you're going to end up wiping yourself out. You're going to end up getting depressed. You're not going to know what's going on. You're going to feel disconnected. Nothing's going to make sense, right? So get in there. Get in there at 100%. Okay, show up at what you're capable of. Do it at 100%. And like, don't hold back. This is not a holding back month. It's like against what makes sense, right? But if you check in your soul, if you check in your heart, you'll want to show up because your soul knows. Your soul has to lead the way. Otherwise, you're going to feel like you're swimming against the current. You have to be plugged into the higher current, okay? All right. I love you. I am running into an appointment. For all the things, moonbabetribe.com or at Moonbabes and the Light Tribe here on Instagram. I'm Sonia G. Thank you for hanging out with me. Go back and watch this again because we talked about many things that are important. Save it. Share it with people that you love, okay? Like this is stuff that's really hard to hear, but it's stuff that's very important to hear. And like a lot of people don't even know that these are the things that are happening. So share with them, okay? I love you. I'll see you soon.